Good morning students, let us discuss the remaining part of the prose empowered women navigation the world. So, at last they had asked to explain any one quality how they had determined without using the steam engine, without using the engine, with the wind power they had attained success to reach their destination. So, let us see what is the next question of the interviewer. As the head of the crew, how did you involve the team? So, how he is asking question to the VIDHYA Joshi, as a head, how he had make the team members to involve. So, VIDHYA Joshi, we shall all sailed and trained some amount, and everybody has their own way of dealing with the situation, but that was a good thing because we could discuss different way of solving a problem and choosing the best one. In fact, I did say it is easier for us to collaborate and work together. So, each and every one in that crew members, the 6, they had undergone the different they have went for the training the same amount, the training which is given for them as a equal. So, everybody has their own way of dealing. If their problem occurs, they have a different idea and they have their own unique way of dealing the situation. So, but the good things, because they have discussed in the different, if the problem occur, what they will do, they will discuss in the different way and they will choose the best one. In fact, they say it is easier for them to collaborate and work together. So, it is easier for them to work together. Now, the Payal Gupta had replied, this is a turn for the Payal Gupta to speak. When we are out at the sea, teamwork is most important in the middle of the crisis. Even during the storm, when the 3 people could be out on watch and the other 3 people who could be inside could not be able to rest. Somebody could heat the water and other person could heat the clouds because it is raining also. So, team effort actually help in navigating through the 20 hours long storm. I feel that it have been alone, then it could have been the nightmare to deal with the challenges that face the sea throw at you. So, now Payal Gupta had explained, when you are out at the sea, the teamwork, when we went inside the sea, the teamwork is most important. Because in the middle of the crisis means in the middle of the any unaccepted events may occur, what they have to do, even during the storm, even the storm occurs, the 3 people they have to stand out and watch how the storm is, the speed of the storm. The same way the remaining 3 will stay inside and they will, they can't able to take rest, but someone has to boil the water, make the water to heat, because it is very cold and raining, and other has to make the clouds to become to make hot. So, they are busy in helping each other. So, when there is any problem, all has to work together. So, it was a storm which is occurred for 20 hours long, and they if they are alone, they can't able to imagine how the horror condition they have to face, because the 6 of them are there. So, they had helped each other and they successfully come across the trouble. So, in the interviewer, share your experience about the most challenging task while sailing. So, the interviewer is asking the question, to the crew members. They have to share any one adventurous, most challenging task they had gone through while sailing. VIDHYA Joshi, the sea cannot get really tough when the wind is picking up. So, those are the time we have to be active and needed to anticipate what could be there ahead. So, the sea can get really tough. So, how the sea will be? The sea will be not smooth what we are seeing on the seashore. So, it is very tough. The wind are picking up. It means when the winds are blowing, the waves will rise. So, the sea will not be calm. Those are the time where we want to be active and need to anticipate what could be there ahead. So, they have to analyze what they have to do as a aheadly they have to think what they have to do to prevent from such a things. In South Pacific, we are encountered to a storm where the sea were almost 9 to 10 meter high and the wind were picking up to 70 to 60 knots. So, while there is a storm in the sea in the South Pacific, how it may be the sea are almost 9 to 10 meter high. The height of the sea rise up to 9 to 10 meters and the wind are picking up 60 to 70 knots. It means the unit of the speed equal to 1 nautical mile per hour exactly, that is 1.852 kilometer per hour. So, So, you imagine what is the speed of the wind is there in the sea. If it is about the hurricane, hurricane means the wind with blow like Surai Katri in Tamil we use the force of the wind on the land, it is normal on the sea where there is hardly any land masses to stop the wind. So, here there is buildings, trees and everywhere, everything is there present in the earth, so they can stop the blow of stop the speed of the wind blow, but in sea there is nothing, it is plain. So, the wind, the wave will rise up to 9 to 10 meter high, as well as the speed of the wind is very high when comparing to the land. It is also blissful experience. Blissful means Devigamana, we used to say divine experience. When someone broken down and for a lot of hardship and effort, we were able to fix it together. We will remind these incidents as well as because it gives us the strength to move on, and so this experience makes them to work lot of hard works and effort. They are broken down, and after they had put lot of hard works and the efforts, they were able to fix it all together. So, they worked all together, and we will remember, they can able to remember the incident well because it gives the strength to them to move. And if something went bad, we were able to overcome those challenges. So, if something happened bad, even they will learn the lesson from that, how to overcome some challenges. Next question. The interviewer, how adventurous your trip? So, he is asking what is the thrill in your trip. So, how they are explaining, let us see. Vachika Joshi, when we were crossing the Tasman Sea. Tasman Sea is a sea between New Zealand and Australia. There is a water body that is called Tasman Sea. We witnessed the brilliant southern light from the sea. It was rare to watch that in those months. That was true from the sea. We are absolutely awestruck, and we were not expecting it to see the entire sky lit up in the green light. So, when we were crossing the Tasman Sea, when they are crossing the Tasman Sea, it is the sea which is between New Zealand and Australia. We witnessed the brilliant southern light from sea. From the southern hemisphere, they had seen the light in the sea. It was rare to watch in those months. In those months, it won't occur, but that particular unaccepted, that especially it was arrived, and that is true from the sea. Even they are seeing that light from the sea. We were absolutely awestruck, and we were not expecting it. So, without the expectation it was occurred. So, it is very awestruck. It is very awesome for them to see the entire, how its light is, the entire earth is lit into the green in color. So, you imagine how the seas looks like. It is green in color. The sky looks like in green in color. There was it is a light which is occur from the southern hemisphere. That is a bioluminescence. Bioluminescence means the light which is emits from the living creature, the living things it will emit. The dolphins swimming in the wake of the boat like our neighbors and the varieties of sea creatures. We spotted a dead sperm's whale once, and we thought that it was an island from the distance. It was so huge, we are not specialized. So, whenever we spotted something in the sea, we have to Google it to learn more about the species. So, what happened? When they spot something in the sea, they don't know what is there. So, if they want to see, one day they had spotted a dead sperm whale, periya or mean whale they had seen, that Sura. What happened? They thought that is a island, but it is not an island, it is a dead sperm. It's because it is very huge in size. They are not known, they don't have more knowledge about the sea species. So, whenever they spot something, definitely they have to go and Google it, and they will find out what is there about to learn more about the species. And the interviewer, this is a thrill they had experienced. They had seen the green light in the Tasman Sea, and as well as they had spotted the dead sperm whale at the sea, that they had thought mistakenly it is an island. Okay. Interviewer, how did you crew spend the time deep in the ocean? How the crew they had spent their time deep in the ocean? Now this is a turn for the Swati. She is replying. During circumnavigation, we picked up some hobbies and kept posting pictures of the delicacies like the golgappas and the cakes. So, she during the circumnavigation, while traveling in the sea, they picked up with the hobbies. They have some hobbies. They were busy in their hobbies. They kept posting the pictures of delicacies like they will post the pictures of Golgappa means is nothing, it is a Pani Puri, and the cakes, they will post the pictures. They also read the books when the weather was pleasant and they did some quilling and the craft work. Quilling means the paper craft, that is called quilling, and they do some craft work also, and they were busy in cooking, while the team leader Joshi read comic and the Ramayana during her journey. So, during her journey, Joshi read the Ramayanas and comic book. I loved cooking as well, so I indulged in baking. I also liked crafting a lot, and so I used to make a lamb shats. I love it, but the people appreciated the food that I cooked, so I gave my crew members the best dish that was possible on the land, which is the limited resource that we had on the boat. With the resource which they had on the boat, Swati used to give the best dish to their crew members because she loved cooking. Vartika Joshi, the 6 is a great number. We were always entertained. We watch movies, listen to music, and you won't believe some of the goodies. The crew rustling up in the tiny pantry. Even while sailing in the rough sea, we made parathas, baked cakes and breads, even more halwa and the rasgullas. So now Vartika Joshi, she is telling the 6 number is a great number because they were very entertained. They are always entertained. They are very happy, and they watch movies and listen to the music, as well as they believe. We won't believe that what are the goodies means, what are the good things the crew did in their tiny pantry. Tiny pantry means the small kitchen, that is tiny pantry. They will sail during their sail in the rough sea. They will made parathas and they bake cakes, as well as they made bread, and even they will prepare halwa and rasagullas with the things which is available in their little pantry. We celebrate the festivals at the sea. When we think about it now on the land, we remember the Diwali we spent on the sea. At the celebrated 3 birthdays include the first birthday of the boat, also specific occasions like crossing the equator and the international date line and such. So, they had celebrated 3 birthdays. One is the day, the first birthday of the ship, another one the day, 3 birthdays include that. So, among other than 2 birthdays also they had celebrated, and they celebrated some special occasions also while crossing the equator 0 degree, while crossing the tropical zone, the equator, they had celebrated that even they had celebrated the international date line. It means according to that only they will calculate the time and the date. So, while crossing that they had celebrated. So, now they are in the land and they are remembering about the Diwali which they celebrated on the sea. So, the next one, the interviewer, what motivates you to fulfill the country's expectation? So, what makes you to fulfill the country expectation means what makes them to come over the challenge which is given by the government of India. So, Swati, we knew that the entire country was watching us and praying for us. So, they know very well because the people are praying for them and watching what they are doing. We never wanted them to have a single day thinking that we are in the trouble. So, they do not want the people to think bad on them, and they do not want to feel for their trouble. We know that it is going to happen, but the people out there did not know what kind of challenge we are facing. So, the people those who are outside the sea, they do not know what kind of challenges they are facing in their day-to-day activities. So, one of the motives that we kept in mind was that we did not want to frighten them. So, the one thing they are very determined, they do not want the people those who are outside the sea, the country, they do not want the people to get afraid, make them to frighten. We decided that once the circumnavigation was over, we are going to show what we had actually gone through. So, after finishing the circumnavigation, after traveling the world through the ship, they have to show they have to tell them what is the experience they have in the ocean. So, at the last, the last question of the interviewer, as a woman, how could you consider the expectation? So, the interviewer asking, as a woman, how you did this? The Vartika Jose, it is a matter of the great honor, and we couldn't have imagined anything better, of course, our cast off. Of course, we being all the women team, it is a great boost to the women in the country. But as we are going as a sailor, we are as sailor have seen that the sea does not discriminate between the gender. It is always the gender neutral, and we have realized that the gender does not play a role in the sailing. but to boost a morale in the country and for more women to take part in the adventures like sailing. So, here Josie, she had explained that there is, when they went inside as being a women team, as it is a great boost to the country, because the country had boosted and encouraged them to attain the full potential from them. So, they went inside as a sailor, if they went inside the sea, the sea does not discriminate, there is it does not consider this is a male and this is female, it is a general neutral, it means adu paagubadu paakala. So, it always general neutral. We realize that the gender does not role play, the gender does not role play in sailing. So, being a man and being a woman, there is nothing. We can, only thing we want to know the tactics, as well as we have to have a courage to come over the problem. But to boost the morale in the country, so the morale means the mental, the thought of the people, the thought of the country people, for more women has to take part in the adventures. The people in the country has to develop the attitude, they have to make more women to encourage in having the adventures of sailing, adventures like sailing. I feel it is a great that an women team had been formed to undergo such expedition. So, she is very proud, because as a women they had come under the success. Thank you, my dear students. You go through the glossaries, it will help you to understand the lesson, as well as you learn the short answers which is given in your book bag. This is all very easy, all the 10. What is IS, what is the special features, and what is the team navigation means, all these questions you can go through, just go through the lessons and learn the short answer which is given in your book bag. Thank you, my dear students.